What up, guys? It's your brother Joe here, and welcome back once again to my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. We are now at Texas for the American Grand Prix. If you haven't seen the previous installment, I urge you to go and check that one out before coming back here and checking this one out. Otherwise, I will assume you're up to date. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. So we are now up to Austin here. We got no points from the Japanese Grand Prix at all, but we're now here trying to make what we can from this weekend. And so far, we're looking relatively competitive. We're not looking overly competitive, but we're good enough for third on the grid, which of course is ahead of championship nemesis Valtteri Bottas. So can't be too unhappy with that.
Welcome once again then to the United States Grand Prix here in the magnificent city of Austin. It was here in 2018 that Kimi Raikkonen delighted the world by winning for the first time in 114 races. There's always a record to be broken, so what, I wonder, is in store for us today? We have 10 turns to the left and 10 to the right here at the fantastic Circuit of the Americas. Overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and 12 at this anti-clockwise 3.6 mile track. And we should see average lap speeds of around 126 miles per hour. Joining me for today's race once again is Anthony Davidson. Let's talk about old-timer. The last few races have been a bit rough for them, unable to get a clean run. That's got to have some effect on their confidence, surely.
Certainly confidence is an important factor. And every time you're involved in an incident, it's not just the car you damage, but that confidence as well. But all the top racing drivers are able to tune that out when the race gets underway and focus on the job at hand.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have old-timer, Bottas, Alexander Albon, and Hubert, Vettel, Ricciardo, Leclerc, and Carlos Sainz. Norris, Ocon, Daniel Kvyat, and Perez, Gasly, Stroll, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Kevin Magnussen. Raikkonen, Russell, Latifi, and Romain Grosjean sits at the back of the grid. Now, it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right then, we are on the grid for the US Grand Prix. 28 laps are in front of us. What can we make from this race? It is lights out and away we go for a lightning start off the grid. Moving up in second and trying to go down the inside of Hamilton. But Hamilton is covered and we've gone wide at turn 1. We're going to lose places here. Verstappen has overtaken us back and we are down into P3. Albon and Ricciardo now are right behind us. So once again, Ricciardo doing very nicely at the start. He is up into P5 and he could be threatening a little bit later on. But so far, I mean, it was a great start, but then we didn't get a good position to go up the inside of Hamilton, and we ended up on the outside, running wide with a heavy car, and as a result we have gone back down to P3 from what could have been P2. But it's okay for now, we'll take that right now, as we just need to settle ourselves into this race. There are 28 laps to do it, and you're not going to win it on lap 1. So let's just try and settle down behind Hamilton and Verstappen, although we've got Albon now at the end of lap 2 starting to give us a little bit of grief. Albon is going to have a look up the inside here. We've given him space. Well, we've given him about the amount of space you'd require to park a rocket ship with that. Oh, we've nudged him down the inside there. We've taken the place back. And now Ricciardo's having a look. We shut him down. And there's a yellow flag there. What has happened there? I think we may have had contact with Albon there. Yes, we did. And then Ricciardo banged wheels with us. Suddenly slammed on the brakes. And Albon just piles into him. You can see from Bottas' view here. Albon just piled right into him there. So Ricciardo lost a lot of momentum from banging wheels with me. And then Albon just completely clattered him. Oh dear. Right, Ricciardo is now up my inside, and I'm not going to waste all my energy fighting him off at the moment, because it's quite clear that once again we have this same issue at the beginning of the race, where our car is just not very quick at all, or we're not very quick at all with it. And to this day, I still have no idea what caused that issue. I just know that we weren't as quick as some of our rivals at the start. but our pace improved as the race continued. Maybe it was starting on soft tyres, you know, maybe we're on a tyre disadvantage and it just wasn't working for the car. Who knows at this point, but Ricciardo is now up into third and he is pulling away from us, and it's Bottas and Hubert behind. So far not too bad at the moment, you know, sitting in P4, still ahead of Valtteri Bottas as we make our one and only stop in this race, and we are going to take the hard tyres from this point until the end. I'm not quite sure why I did that. I do think that the medium tyres could have worked, but we've decided to, for whatever reason, go on the hards, and we're now going to try and catch Daniel Ricciardo and get what is effectively P3 back off of him. You know, he probably had fun while it lasted, but we're going to need that back because we are fighting for a championship here. And I can't afford to get caught up fighting someone else. So we're going to have a look up the inside here. It looks pretty solid, but we've gone completely deep. And Daniel Ricciardo's just like, you know what, mate? You clearly don't want that enough, so I am going to take that straight back. Thank you. Have a nice day. But we're still going to stay with him here. And we're going to line up a move at the end of this straight, but Ricciardo's still got a decent bit of momentum, but we have got a ridiculous amount of engine power. Thank you, Mercedes engine, as we now go around the outside. Ricciardo is holding on as much as he can, but we've got the better exit, and we were able to get our foot down on the throttle sooner, up the inside there, and that is the move done on Ricciardo for what will be P3 in this race. Once the car's ahead of me pit. So I will take that for now. Can we do anything about Verstappen and Hamilton in front? We are slowly bringing ourselves towards them with some personal bests, but it just doesn't seem quick enough at the moment, and I think we are quite likely to run out of laps before I am able to bring myself any closer to them. But this is a solid effort, you know, it's P3, not an awful lot's happening, it's a very uneventful race, and we have, again, in the last few laps here, brought ourselves a bit closer, but it's not enough. We need, ideally, at least half a second a lap to a second a lap on them to have got close to them, but in the meantime, Daniel Kvyat is out of the race. That's unlucky for him. He peels off to the side. That AlphaTauri engine is smoked. And you'd think that engine would be too young to smoke, but apparently not. So as we now get on to the last lap of the race, as I said, we just weren't catching quick enough, you know. We needed about a second more a lap to catch them, but we just didn't have it. But I'll still take P3. It's still a very solid result. It's 2 positions ahead of Valtteri Bottas. So some crucial points gained back on Valtteri, but today Hamilton and Verstappen, as we nearly lose it coming out of sector 2. Boy, that was scary a moment there, to think that we could have lost P3 there and ended up 4th, but Hamilton bangs out a Hamilton special, which is the fastest lap on the last lap, and he takes the win of the US Grand Prix. It is Verstappen second, and we will take third.
That's a spectacular victory then, and with it, the championship is secure. It's been a magnificent season, and they thoroughly deserve the cheers of the crowd here today. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
So after a magnificent race, we can now see the drivers making their way to the podium. Once again, it's the Silver Arrows who take top spot, a well-earned victory for Mercedes. Let's have a look then at the
Well, if I'm
stats.
honest, my end, it wasn't the most
Championship leader is still
eventful
sat at
or
the top of the
exciting of
standings,
races,
their rivals
but
have made up
it
some
was
solid
enough to
ground
take
today.
P3.
So, Anthony Davis,
It was a
who
quiet
would you
but
rank
solid
as your
drive,
driver of
and
the
as you
day?
can
But there's a
see,
lot of
Bottas
incredible
is
driving out there
5th,
today,
so it
Crocky.
is
If
some
they had to
points
pick
gained.
someone,
Our
it's gotta be
teammate got
Sergio Perez.
8th, so
Fantastic driving.
The
not
Constructors'
too bad a day
Championship
for
may be a
Arrows,
foregone
but
conclusion
Hamilton
at
and
the moment,
Verstappen were
but
just
regardless,
unstoppable
let's
in that
look at the
race, weren't they?
standings. It's another
They were
clear win for
absolutely
Mercedes as they
unstoppable.
managed to
You can
secure
see the
Constructors'
championship there.
title.
We've
An
still
incredible
got the
performance
tiniest
for
of
the
gaps
home
to
team.
Bottas,
Meanwhile, good work
and
from Racing
Hamilton is
Point this
creeping
weekend,
his way in
who
here.
pushed
Could
themselves
Lewis
further up the
Hamilton
order.
end up
Well,
as a
that's an
championship
end to another
contender?
fantastic weekend of racing.
It's getting
Thanks to
pretty
everyone
gnarly
who
as we
joined
head
us,
into the
and
final
we'll see
3
you for the
races,
next one.
and I assure you now, you do not want to miss a single one of them. Well, as always, I'm going to leave you with the highlights reel at the end of this race. Not that there were that many highlights, to be honest. It just wasn't that eventful, was it? But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the highlights. Don't forget to leave a like and punch the sub button if you are new here. Until the next time, I have been Joe. We are sitting pretty for second in the Constructors' Championship. Until the next time, I have been Joe. Thank you for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you all soon.